Hi everyone, I'm Janneke from Books and Stitches and welcome to my channel. This will be my July TBR. So this is a booktube video. If you're new to my channel, I make both booktube and flosstube videos. I try to separate them, though sometimes they do get combined, like my last video was a 24-hour vlog of both. But this will be focused on reading and specifically what I will be reading in July. So we are about a week into July, but I've not yet read much this month. So I figured it's fine to film this now. Who knows when I'll post this? Knowing me, it'll be a bit, but hopefully pretty quickly because I just finished editing my vlog. So that has to process and then upload, which will take a while, but this should not take much editing. So that should be fun. While putting this together, I realized I do a lot of reading challenges. So I did not realize how many year-long reading things I was trying to do. So a quick overview of those, since they will be involved in my TBR. I do Bookemon, which is by Merb. I will try and leave links to every announcement video of all the challenges and readathons down below. And I might not always remember the names of the organizers off the top of my head. I should have wrote those down, but I forgot and I don't have too much time today. So I want to get this done instead of writing it, looking them up and writing them down, because I then won't have time to film. So Bookemon is by Merb. It is a year-long readathon based on Pokemon and collecting Pokemon, in this case Bookemon. But you do different prompts. There's a prompt drop every 3 months, which has a bunch of prompts to collect multiple Pokemon. There is a monthly Pokemon each month, and then there are also seasonal ones, which are also 3 months. For this month, there was a new prompt drop. I have finished prompt drop 1 and prompt drop 2, but I have not yet started prompt drop 3. I'll just look at whatever fits in. I'm not specifically going for those yet. I will do that probably next month or the month after that. Same with the seasonal, though actually for this seasonal you didn't have to read a book. So I think I did already do the seasonal prompt, but the monthly prompt is one that I want to do every month. So for this month, the monthly prompt is to read a book by an Australian author. So one of the books will be by an Australian author. I will go into all of that later, but I just want to quickly tell you about all the challenges I'm doing. Besides that, I am also doing Aurelium, A Year in Eldia. That is by Q. Again, I will link it below. That is also a readathon where you have one prompt every month. My laundry machine is getting kind of loud. I hope you can't hear it, but if you can, I'm sorry. That is what it is. But for that, this month, my prompt was to read a book only in the PM hour, so in the afternoon. So for that, I will just pick a short book, since that will make that easier. And I am also taking part in the Buzzword Reading Challenge, which is by Books and Lala. Those do have monthly prompts, but they're all released at the beginning of the year. And I've seen some people just pick books at the beginning of the year and then read them during the year. So that's the way I'm doing it. So I'm not necessarily doing it month by month, but I do want to make sure I pick at least 1 or 2 books off that list every month. And last but not least, actually there are 2 more. One is my own personal reading challenge. Actually, there are 3 more. God, I'm doing so many. So one is my own personal reading challenge, which is just a bingo board I make at the beginning of the year with some challenges that I want to work towards. I don't think I am doing too much for that this month, but there are a couple that will fit in there. I will mention them when I show them. And then I'm also doing HRCYED 2.0, which is by Q Wordy. I will again link it below, as well as the person who helped me discover this challenge, which is the Reading and Writing Life, I believe. I will link her video about it below too. I love her videos. I discovered her a month or 2 ago, and I've been obsessed with her videos. So, but that one I am stretching, kind of cheating on, because it is really difficult, and I don't have the energy to fully commit to it. So I've decided to just cheat and use books I've read from the beginning of the year till now as well. It starts in July, this reading challenge, and it lasts a year. So I'm just stretching it to 1.5 years, and I will try to do all the prompts, but I may stretch some here and there as well. Just so you know, I'm not doing like any of the fully official rules. But for that, I did make a wheel, and I'm spinning to do at least one book every month for that. And then the other books, I will see how they fit in. Towards the end of it, I will probably have to focus more on it. But for now, that is what I'm doing. For this month, the wheel spun translated work. So I have to read a book that is translated into a different language. I am not sure if you have to read 5 of those. I'm not sure if they have to be like different original languages or if you can do the same original language. I will have to check on that. But for this month, I'm just doing one book. So that's not a big deal. And last but not least, I have recently discovered that I need a set TBR to read. Otherwise, I will just not read. I hate picking books. So I do readathons every month, and I prefer them when they're like single player, if that makes sense. There are like some really cool competitive readathons, but I do struggle with those more. I like when I can just make my TBR at the beginning of the month, and it's just like a challenge with myself. So this month there wasn't really anything that spoke to me, and I did do Clear Your Shit readathon. Clear Your Shit. I don't remember who made that. Again, I will link it below. I've done the first round of that in the past. I spent a whole year on that time because it is quite a long readathon. I think originally it lasted 2 months, but it's quite long, and that was also in a time where I didn't read that much books. This year I've been reading a lot more books than my usual. So, I mean, I'm hoping to continue that course, but we'll see. But yeah, I've decided to pick round 2 of that readathon and just work on like 5 or 6 prompts of that every time I don't have a readathon. So I'm not doing it along with anyone. This is like an old round of that readathon. But since I'm not doing a readathon this month, I decided to do 5 prompts of it. So last month, or like last time I didn't do a readathon, I did 6. This, however, has the boss battle, which is like 2 pictures. So on my like Canva sheet, 6 is 5 books, and I figured, yeah, that's fine this month. So I will go through that to tell you what I'm going to read. I will tell you which other prompts it fits for, and then if there are any books that are not on that, I will also tell you. So one moment while I open it on my laptop. Okay, so I'm not going to go through everything in detail about the prompts, but just so you know, in Clear Your Shit, we're currently like in the underworld that's trying to get back to life. And for the first prompt that I am working on, which is Quest 7, if you've done it in the past or are interested in doing it, I'm on Quest 7 right now. For that, you have to pay the boatman to like move you across the Styx, I think it is. I don't know if it mentions that specifically in this readathon, but like the Charon in the underworlds has to bring you across the river, and for that you have to pay him by reading a book with gold, bronze, or silver on the cover. For that, I will be reading Kidnap on the California Comet. It has some gold foiling on it, and that is what I'm going to be reading it for. I don't think this fits into anything else except my buzzword. I think it is a book. Yeah, this is a book on my buzzword challenge for the month of August, which has the prompt of transportation. Obviously, there's a train on the cover. That fits. So that is what I'm going to be reading for this. This is a middle grade mystery series. It's the second book in the series. They all take place on trains. The series is called Adventures on Trains. It follows a kid who has to travel on a train with his uncle in the first book because his mother is pregnant, and then jewelry gets stolen. He has to solve who the thief is. That's what happens in the first book. I'm assuming there's a kidnapping in this book, considering it's called The Kidnap on the California Comet, but I really enjoyed the first book and I'm excited to read the second one. So yeah, that is what I will be reading for that. And I think that's all the prompts this works for. Then sorry if I keep like going away, I need to like move stuff around on my laptop to see it. Quest 8, you have to keep your hands and feet inside the boat, and for that you have to read your smallest book. So for this one, I looked at my like list of books I had on Goodreads and just sorted by page count, and I found this one. It's called Het Zwanemeer, maar dan anders, which translates to Swan Lake, but different. It is a Dutch book. It is really short. It's a kid's book. My mom had this and was going to sell it, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I like Swan Lake. Let me read it and then I'll give it back to you and you can sell it. I don't think I'll want to keep this. But that was like a year or two ago now, and I've still not read it. So I do really want to read this. That's also why I did put it on my buzzwords reading challenge, because I do really want to get to reading this. And this is for the title version. I don't think I mentioned that. Buzzword reading challenge has a cover prompts and title prompts, and I'm trying to do both. So there are 12 prompts of things that have to appear on the cover, and there are 12 prompts that have to appear in the title. So I'm doing this for February for the title prompt, which is water words. Swan Lake. Lake is a water word. I have no idea what this is about, so I can't tell you. It's a kid's book. It's really short. It's like 60 pages or so. No, it's like, let me see. It's 94 pages. So really short, really small book. That's what I'm going to be reading this for. I don't think this matches anything else. Actually, this could fit for Aurelium because I just have to read a book in the afternoon. I think I wrote this down for that just because it is so small, but yeah. No idea what it's about, so I can't tell you. Something to do with Swan Lake, I'm hoping. So next, for Clear Your Shit, is quest 9, for which I have to read a spooky book. For that, I am going to be reading Phantom Hearts by Rosie Talbot, artwork by Sarah Maxwell. This is a graphic novel. I met Rosie Talbot on HRCYED. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, and I really liked her and I wanted to try out her books. So I have both her graphic novel as well as the first in her, I don't remember what the series is called, but like her supernatural, like paranormal series as well. And I figured I would try this one because this is a murder mystery. It's Savic and there are ghosts in it. So that's all I know about it, but it is obviously spooky because there are ghosts in it. And I'm also just in the mood for a murder mystery, as well as the offers for YALC 2025 were announced like a week ago, I don't remember when, but not that long ago, and Rosie Talbot will be there again. So I figured I should read her book. I want to read books from authors who are appearing that I own books from but haven't read yet. So I'm going to try to do like one of those each month as well. But Phantom Hearts is my spooky book. I don't think it fits for anything else. Let me double check real quick for my buzzword of one, but I don't think it's on there. No. This may or may not fit my personal reading challenge because I did have a goal of reading books that I bought last year at YALC or in London, but I don't remember if I bought this last year or the year before that. So I will have to look at my notes when I bought it, but it might fit for that. But yeah, this is a ghostly murder mystery graphic novel and it is Sapphic. So that is all I needed to know to be excited about it, as well as I just really like the author. So that is the next book. Then for quest 10, I have to read a book with an animal because we're meeting the three-headed dog, Cerebus. For this, I had originally planned a different book, but I had Siege of Mackendal by Ranger's Apprentice on my June TBR and did not finish it. So I'm moving this to my July TBR and I'm gonna put this in here. This is the 6th book in the Ranger's Apprentice series. This is a middle grade medieval adventure series that I really loved as a kid and I'm trying to reread now. I read the first 5-ish last year and now I'm trying to read the second 5-ish. I'm saying ish because I read 1 to 4 and 7 last year and I've read 5 this year and I'm reading 6 currently. That's just because chronologically 7 comes before 5, and when I read it as a kid I was really confused about the really big time jump between 4 and 5, as well as when I picked up 7, why we're back in time. So I'm just reading it chronologically this time. I think that does make more sense. This is about, I'm going to tell you what the first book is about, considering it's book 6 in the series. The first book is about a 15-year-old orphan who grows up in the ward of a castle. When the orphans are 15, they have to be chosen by a craftsmaster of that castle to be like their apprentice. If they don't get chosen, they move to live on a farm and work there. And Will, the main character, really wants to be a knight. So he wants to be chosen by the battle master. He's really small. The battle master is like you don't really fit here. I don't think you'll be a great knight. So he doesn't get chosen, and none of the others are really interested in having him as an apprentice either, except for the ranger. And the ranger is like a spy type thing in this book, in the series. They're like spies, hunters, informants for the king. People believe they have magical powers. They don't, but they like are surrounded in like dark arts rumors. They can like move without being seen, stuff like that. And Will becomes a ranger's apprentice. And he's not really excited about it because he doesn't know much about rangers except for those rumors. But yeah, the series follows his adventures. And in book 6, he is a full-fledged ranger. And it's like his first mission as a full-fledged rather than an apprentice. And it's really fun. So the prompt was an animal in it. And there are horses in every book. But Will also gets a dog in book 5 and has that dog in book 6. The dog plays a pretty big role in book 5 and 6, so I figured that fit perfectly. So this will also work for my Book a Month monthly prompts, as John Flanagan is an Australian author. I'm pretty sure. I forgot to double check it, but I'm like 90% sure he is an Australian author. If I'm wrong, please let me know and I will try and find a different Australian author, but I'm 90% sure he is. So fingers crossed. So this might be on my buzzword-a-thon as well. I'm not sure anymore. But I do want to read the entire series. So, no, this one isn't, but the next... Oh, yeah, no, this is. This is for Violent Words. Siege is a violent word. So, next, the last prompt for Clear Your Shit, but not the last book to show you, because I still have 3 more after that. So, Quest 11 is a boss battle. So at the beginning of the Clear Your Shit readathon, you have to pick some things kind of randomly. You had to pick a strength. I chose... What did I choose? I chose Collection Curator as my strength. And that is for a book you bought before the readathon. Read the last book you purchased. For that, I'm going to be reading Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I can't show it to you because it's not out yet, but I pre-ordered it before I made my TBR. It was the last book I had bought and it's coming out in July, so I should have it in time to read it. I think it comes out the 22nd and I'm super excited about it. It is Holly Jackson's first adult book, but all her young adult books I have loved. I think I've rated all of them 5 stars. Maybe I rated 5 to 5 4 stars. That was like my least favorite of her books, but still like a really good book. I just love her writing. I love all the books of hers that I've read in the past, so very excited to read Not Quite Dead Yet. Not Quite Dead is about a woman who gets attacked and she's in the hospital and she knows she's going to die in a couple of days or weeks, and she's going to try to solve her own murder before that happens to like figure out who attacked her. So that's all I know about it. I basically bought it because of Holly Jackson, but I'm super excited about it. And that is also going to count for her Kiets, because one of her Kiets prompts is to read a new release every month. So that is, forgot to mention that before, but I'm trying to read a new release every month, and that's going to be July's new release. So that is it for my Clear Your Shit. But like I said, there are 3 more books on my readathon. Book a Month I've talked about, Aurelium I've talked about. There is a buzzword book on the list. I'm going to go with that one first. That is The Next Ranger's Apprentice, The Kings of Clonmel. That is on here basically because I want to read 5 this year, and I've only read 1.5 so far, and we're halfway through the year, so I figured I need to keep going with them. So I wanted to read this. I had already decided that before I did not finish Siege of Mackinac, but I decided to just keep it on as well. So I'm trying to read 2 Ranger's Apprentice books this year. This one is a lot thicker than they usually are, but it's still like should be kind of easy. This counts for buzzword-a-thon because there is a weapon on the cover, clearly. But yeah, that is that book. This is just the continuation of book 6. Again, I'm not going to go into depth about it, and I've already told you about the series, but I am excited to continue it. And then there are 2 more. They both had prompts, but I don't remember why I picked them up. Oh, I remember. Yeah. So one of my personal challenges is to read more books by authors that I've enjoyed in the past. So at the beginning of the year, I wrote a couple of authors, I think quite a bit actually, I think like 8 or 10, that I've either really loved in the past, or I think I would really love the books by. And I decided to try and read one of those books this month. I want to try to read one every month, but I've only decided that now, so I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. But for this month, it is Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. I have read Never Ever Getting Back Together by Sophie Gonzalez, and I absolutely love that. So I'm excited to read more by her. I own three books by her actually, that I have not yet read. Perfect on Paper. I also own If This Gets Out, and I also own one more. I don't remember which one. Does it have a list of her other books somewhere? It does not. Okay, I don't remember what other book I own by her, but I own one more book by her. Perfect on Paper is about a bisexual main character who, it's YA, so it takes place in high school. She is a secret relationship advice giver. There is a locker that's out of use where people who put like questions or advice they want with their email address, as well as $10, because that's how much it costs to get her help. And she replies with those emails with advice. If her advice doesn't work, she gives the $10 back. But she's really good at giving advice to other people, not so good at like her own love life and her own issues. But then one day, a boy who is new to school, at least that's what the cover said. I read like the first chapter or two. I didn't really notice him being new necessarily, but apparently he's new. He discovers that she is the one who gives the advice, and he kind of just asks for her help to get his ex-girlfriend back, kind of blackmails her into it. Like I said, I've read like 2 or 3 chapters. From how I'm seeing it right now, she absolutely believes he's blackmailing her into it, like he's paying her, but she also thinks that if she doesn't help him, he will reveal her identity to everyone. It's all from her point of view, but from what I've read, it kind of seems like he isn't actually blackmailing her. He's just like, hey, I really want your help, and I will pay you for it. So I don't think he knows he's blackmailing her necessarily, but in her mind, he absolutely is blackmailing her to help him get back with his ex. And I think there's going to be like kind of a love triangle square, in that the main character is in love with her best friend, but the book also describes the ex-girlfriend of the boy who asks for help as annoyingly hot. So, the book describes him as annoyingly hot. So I think there's a love triangle between the main character and her best friend, as well as the boy who is kind of blackmailing her. And the boy who's kind of blackmailing her is also obviously into his ex. Anyway, I'm really excited to read this book. I am going to be listening to it through Everend, because I do really like listening to romance novels, and I'm pretty sure this is one. And also, none of the other books I've shown you so far are on Everend, so I don't have an audiobook on here yet. So I don't have access to it yet. Everend has this kind of annoying thing where if you listen to too much, apparently, you have to wait until you can listen to a lot of books again. So there are some books that you can still listen to, but most of them you have to wait. I have access to this the 8th of July, I think. So it's not too much longer. And then I will start listening to this. Really excited for that one. And the last book that I have to show you is, like I said, for HRCYED, I spun a translated work. And for that, I'm going to be reading Narnia. This is a really big book. I'm not reading all of this. I'm just reading the first book. This book is in chronological order, but from what I've read online, it makes more sense to read it in publishing order. Like, it's more fun to experience it that way. And I have in the past tried to read this just from the beginning, and I did not like it. So I'm going to try that now, to start with reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This counts for translated because it is the entire Chronicles translated into Dutch. So I will be reading it in Dutch. It's, I think everyone knows what Chronicles of Narnia is about by C.S. Lewis, but in case you don't, it's about 4 kids who flee from London from the war, and they end up in this magical land through a wardrobe, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, where a witch has taken over the land. She's made it so it's always winter, and they have to stop her. With help from Aslan the Lion. That's what the first book is about, like The Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe. It's also a movie. I've seen the movie quite a bit in the past. Never read the books, so I'm excited to read that, but it is a really heavy book. The actual first book in this is not that big. I think the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is only like 150 to 200 pages, so it shouldn't take too long, but it is going to be a bit of a struggle to read. That is also why I mentioned that I have to look into if you have to read, for the translated prompt, read different languages. Because if you can read from the same language translations, I might just read more in this book. Because I would like to just read the entirety of this. So if that can count for the prompt, I would just read the second book and the third book and the fourth book. I have read one translated book already, so I have one from Icelandic, I think, into English. I read Jorvik Calling, which is like a Star Stable novel. It's middle grade fantasy-ish. I didn't really like it, but it was, I don't know, it was fun, I guess. It didn't feel like a novel. Like, it felt like they wrote a novel and then just randomly split it into 3 arcs. So 3 books, I mean. So what felt like the beginning of the actual adventure was the end of the book, and I didn't like it enough to continue. So I have no idea how that will end, but it was about horses, and one of last like quarters bookmark prompts was to read a horse girl book. So I read it for that, and also because I had been quite interested in it, because I volunteer at a library, and I had gotten that in my hands quite a bit. So and it always thought the covers looked pretty. So I read that. So I did read one translated work from Icelandic into English. So if it doesn't count multiple books from the same language to the same language, that is fine. I just have to look up some other books that I can read for it. Anyway, that is it for my TBR for July. So this is it, plus not quite that yet. It looks worse than it is because I'm only reading one story from Narnia. So that should help a lot. And also Phantom Hearts is a graphic novel. I did notice I'm reading a lot of middle grade this month, which is not necessarily a bad thing because I've really enjoyed middle grade this year. But I do want to try and even what I'm reading out a bit more. So next month will probably be a bit more YA and adult novels. If you've liked this, please let me know. I am excited to do more of this type of video. I also thought it might be fun to actually pick my TBR reviews, to like show you what I'm spinning, and as I read the prompts, decide which books I'm going to be reading for them. If you're interested in that, let me know. If you think you'll prefer it like this, where I just already know what I'm going to be reading, that's also fine. Please let me know. That is gonna be it for this video. Again, I will link every of the original creators of all the challenges down below so you can check them out. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. That will, booktube wise, that will probably be a reading vlog maybe of what I'll read this month, or if not, I'm not sure yet, but I will be back. I am really enjoying it. Also, I figured out this setup where you can kind of see books, which I really enjoy as well. So yeah, see you in the next video. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.